I set the intention that we share a lot of positivity.
Happy Aloha Friday, everyone. Yay for Friday, because it's been a long week. I'm tired. I'm ready to just cut loose, have my drink. I'm ready, so let's do this.
Happy Kūhiō Day. Not only
it's Kūhiō Day.
Is it Friday in Hawaii, it is Kūhiō Day, March 26th. And we celebrate with a day off throughout the entire state of Hawaii.
Another day off.
Throughout the entire state.
Oh, you Hawaiians.
Yes. Hawaii holidays. So Prince Jonah Kūhiō Kalanianaʻole. He was one of our last princes of our monarchy. He had some cool things. Traditionally, there would be big celebrations on all the islands. The Big Island, Oahu, Kauai, and Maui. They have parades. They have festivals. They have hulas, performances, concerts, all kinds of events. So it's always a fun time to visit the islands is around this holiday. We would be celebrating 150 years if he were still alive. Thank goodness humans don't live that long.
Right?
That's a long time. He was also the first royal monarch to serve in the U.S. Congress.
Oh, okay.
He's the only one.
That's a fun fact. Like, we should get some fun facts in here, Mai.
And one more thing. While he was in Congress, he was kind of responsible for building up the infrastructure in Hawaii, trying to get funding. And the way that he did it is he kind of convinced Congress that Hawaii was a strategic place in the Pacific Ocean and used and kind of created this alliance with the military, which is how we got funding to redo a lot of our harbors and our highways and things. A lot of it is actually military funding because we have so many military bases here. So actually it was that, I guess, friendship between the military and Hawaii that got a lot of our infrastructure built. So we're very grateful for that. And the lighthouse.
Right.
So actually the lighthouse that's famous on
the Makapu'u
Lighthouse, that strip, that beautiful strip of road, always featured on Magnum PI, Kalanianaʻole Highway, named after him. And that's where the Makapu'u Lighthouse is that he had built.
Okay. Well, I appreciate all the fun facts because I didn't really know all of this stuff.
Oh, and
I mean, there's so much like rich history.
There is.
Yep.
And there's he and his brothers, they went to college. They did a lot of their schooling abroad, but they went to college at St. Matthew's Military Academy or something in San Mateo, California. And while they were there in California, they introduced surfing to America. That was actually, they're kind of like one of the first recorded surfers, and Santa Cruz, San Mateo, like in that area. And then after that, they went to England, and they were also credited to bring surfing to England.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Hawaii royalty.
I'm pretty sure it's really cold in England to be like surfing, but you know what? More power to them. I bet they didn't even have wetsuits back then.
They had like weird, they described in some kind of letter that's in some kind of surfing museum in England, whatever it was that they wore, but it was like head to toe. But they loved rough water because it offered better surfing conditions.
Yeah, I would imagine. So. Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, there's probably a lot of people out there who don't know. There's a lot of rich history and a lot of influence that Hawaiian culture has given to the world. I mean, there's just little elements here and there. Mm-hmm. I mean, surfing can be done pretty much anywhere that there's ocean. Yep. If there's just like, a little bit of wave. Even here in Texas, like we have like 2 to 3 foot waves unless it gets like really stormy or whatnot. And people try to surf. And I mean, I might jab at them a couple times because I'm like, you can't surf like a 2 foot wave.
But
like,
they're good.
Good for you for trying, but it's not the same thing.
You can definitely boogie board and body surf.
Yeah, you can do those things.
And that's how you learn.
Just not the same.
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn. Baby waves.
Yeah.
Okay, well, happy Kūhiō
Happy
Day.
Kūhiō Day.
And there you go.
That's so fun. Okay.
So,
one more thing that is happening all over our country is that there's this big tech exodus out of California, and it is very noticeable for our two states. A lot of them are going to Texas, and a lot of them are going
they're
to
moving to Austin.
Hawaii. And they are they're leaving these real estate markets that have high cost of living, high prices for their real estate. And so when they come to our states, they're actually driving up the housing markets. They're driving up the prices. But I'm hoping that they're going to bring a little bit of California influence to our economics, to our politics.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of difference between, and this is from my perspective of like Hawaii and California politics. There are some things that I would say if you bring a lot of California into Texas, there's going to be a clash of ideals, right?
Same with Hawaii.
It's, a lot of, right. And I think with Hawaii, I mean, living there and being a part of the culture and everything, I want Hawaii to stay the same.
Our politics is really terrible, though. Really. And I could use that.
The politics, but I'm just like,
open-mindedness.
But I'm talking about the culture. Like,
oh, the culture's lovely. It's not going to go anywhere. It's strong.
The culture is just, well, I don't know. It could go somewhere because a lot of people in California have this like misconception that Hawaii is so backwards. Like a lot of people still think Hawaii is not even part of the United States. They're like, I need a passport. Like if you Google, like I start to put like, to go to Hawaii, do you? And it's like literally says, do you need a passport? Like it's still part of it is part of the United States, everyone. Like you don't need a passport. I've had so many people ask me, can I use my passport card to get in Hawaii? I'm like, you can use your driver's license. Like that's because it's part of the United States. But I really think there will be more of a clash. I think Elon Musk wants to make Austin like the new San Francisco. I live there. I think Austin's like a great city, but it's not what everybody thinks it is. It is literally like large amounts of traffic and really high cost of living already. And then you have people moving there. I mean, what is it? I think it's I-35 that goes through downtown is literally only 2 lanes on each side. And there's no room for expansion, right? Because there's buildings and there's already like things built. Normally, like if you wanted to expand, you would have to like destroy all of the buildings that are already there to expand it. So now they're trying to make it like a double-decker highway.
Oh.
So, I mean, like New York has those. I think parts of San Antonio have like a double-decker. So like one will go all the way through. So you don't have to like wait to get off and exits, So, I mean, they're going to, and maybe Californians, with their money and their influence coming to Texas to like specific cities like Austin, Dallas, some in Houston, but not as much. Maybe they'll help with the infrastructure, because they've been there, done that, right? I think the politics wise, like there's going to just be ugly clashes in the big cities. Like, so when in the last election, we had all the big cities were like very blue. But then when you started looking at Texas as a whole, it's very red.
Yeah.
So this should be a really interesting sort of shift. But I will say as like a true Texan, you cannot take Texas out of Texans. Like they're very strong-willed individuals. Most of us are very open-minded, but a lot of things about Texas we're very defensive of. Big hair, don't care, cowboy boots, country music, barbecue, like and our Tex-Mex. Like we love food, right? So don't bring your vegan here. It's going to be very hard to bring. No, I'm just kidding. Like I have a lot of friends who are vegan here, but it's going to be hard, right? Like don't expect like a vegan restaurant to do as well as a barbecue restaurant because that's just how we are, It's fun.
I don't think it's going to affect your cost of living so much. In fact, I think that's what's so desirable about Texas. Like for a gallon of milk in Texas, how much would that cost you?
Oh, I mean, it depends. Like we have so many like state and local programs where milk is very cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's like $3 right now for a gallon of milk.
So in Hawaii, it would be closer to around $7. And if you go outer islands, it
Right.
definitely go up to like 9 or more.
I would just stop drinking milk. Like,
I don't drink milk
at that
a lot.
point, give me some almond milk or
I
whatever.
rarely buy it. It's unless I'm planning some
Milking
recipe.
almonds is cheaper than milking cows.
Yeah. No, I usually have almond milk in my pantry. It's fine. I can always use that
Yeah.
for my coffee. It's lovely. But things like the cost of living, I'm kind of thinking California is kind of similar to Hawaii. They would love Texas to be paying, a quarter of what they pay.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably really nice to have your California salary while living in Texas. I mean, today I was driving and I felt like, a lot of people were driving like really bougie cars.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you can drive a bougie car,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you can have a Tesla, you can have, your Porsche, whatever you want to have. But what a lot of people don't understand is like these trucks that are custom and like big,
Mm-hmm.
they are just as equivalent as a Mercedes, a BMW, a Range Rover. Like if you really want to start comparing apples to apples, like people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to customize their big, huge trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And what I thought was funny is today I'm like cruising over railroad tracks, potholes, everything, because Houston's always under construction. You have railroad tracks and things. And everybody in their bougie ass cars are like going over and like so scared to touch the bottom. I'm like, this is why you don't drive a low car in Houston. You don't have these things, right? Because you just want to be confident. Like hit that pothole. It's okay. It's going to be all right. I think my mom and I were sitting in the car and we were just going down a terrible road. And I was like, I feel like a bobblehead. Like my head is like
Mm-hmm.
constantly moving while we were driving. And my mom was laughing because she's like, yeah, because the roads suck here. And I'm like, yeah, they do.
That is
So-
something that we have in common. The roads are
All in good
pretty
fun.
terrible. And then the other thing that I wanted
Yeah.
to mention was, especially along Kalanianaʻole Highway, which is absolutely gorgeous. There's a lot. When I was in California, I noticed a lot of people who love bicycling. Like we have it here too.
Yeah.
But if a whole bunch
It's dangerous.
more of them come here to Hawaii, it's gorgeous. Yes. But we have so many international visitors and people who they drive differently from wherever they come from.
Yep.
And really, bicyclists do have the same rights as cars. And you have to give them room. You have to let them you have to give them
But
a
a lot
lot
of
of
people
space.
don't know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just to, especially
I
on
always,
tight roads,
the pulley.
the Pali Highway.
I always thought it was weird that I would see bikers like on like manual pedal bikes on the pulley. I was like, this is the most dangerous road that you could be biking on right
I
now.
know. The Hawaii, you're allowed to bike on the
Especially when you fly
highways.
down that road.
You're allowed to bicycle on the highways, but you can't go on the freeways, obviously.
Right.
That's not allowed.
But to me, the pulley is like when you're coming around that corner like real fast and then there's like a biker in the lane. I'm like, come on.
Mhm.
Like that's scary. Like why?
Oh, the other thing is when I see these people bicycling and they have like super tricked out, expensive competition type bicycles,
Yep.
they have those little skinny tires. We have so much
Titanium,
rocks
yeah.
on our roads. There's nothing that really, it's not clean and pretty. Like when I was in California, man, those roads were clean. I was like, wow, there's not even like
Yeah.
rocks. But we have them everywhere, and I have seen so many bikers just eat it because they've hit a rock, and then they're falling into the road. So be careful.
Use caution.
Use caution. Maybe
For
change
sure.
your tires to something that's going to be a little bit more pothole friendly.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people are confident when they go to Hawaii and they're trying to do all these other sports. And I'm just like, be aware that there's a melting pot of visitors that come and, they're too busy looking at sites and distracted by their phones or music or whatever's going on. And sometimes the roads are very tricky to drive. So it's very narrow. I've known, just like a couple of years ago, I believe now, I knew, somebody was running, one of the anesthesiologists I worked with, he was running down in Waikiki, standing in the middle, the lane, waiting for the cross, like, the sign change so he could cross. And he was with multiple people and a a driver just plowed right through them all and killed them all
no.
instantly.
Well,
So, I mean, you were not safe on the sidewalk. You're not safe in the middle of the road.
yeah, people.
I mean, it could just happen at any time.
I mean, Hawaii is one of those places where people are looking in every single direction and not necessarily in front of them. And sometimes there's language barriers too. We kind of just let anybody, if you have a license to drive wherever you're from, you could rent a car. Isn't that fantastic?
You can rent a motorcycle too.
Motorcycle too.
Which is so scary.
I was run over by a Japanese tourist who they were driving into the beach park in the wrong direction. And I swerved and swerved and swerved, and they swerved and swerved and swerved, and still I was under the car.
How does that even happen?
I don't know, but at least I was on a hill. They stopped, but I literally had to crawl out from underneath the car. And thank God my bike and my paddle survived. And I was so pumped up on adrenaline, and I still went to practice, but I couldn't speak to them because they were talking in Japanese. And I was like, I'm alive. Go away. I was so angry.
I would have been angry at them too.
I had to be someplace.
They were probably freaking out though. They were probably like, yeah, because you had to show up to practice to get in the boat.
I had to show up to practice and be on time, no matter what happened to me en route that day.
No matter what, no matter if you got ran over by a car and you were being pounded by Japanese tourists, it doesn't matter.
You still have to show up for practice. That's my dedication. Craziness.
That is like absolute dedication. Good for you, Maya. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know. You never told me this story, so I'm like in shock a little bit over on this side. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
I think I blocked a lot of that out.
How did this happen?
Yeah, that was when I used to. And
good for you, though.
Literally after
that
day, I never rode my bicycle to practice again. I drove my car.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah,
smart girl.
Like, they can't run me over in my own car.
I mean, they could try. They definitely could try. You did have a small car. I don't even know. Do you still have that car?
I do have a very small car still.
Yeah, that car is like tiny. Like I remember my truck, like in your car, and I'm like, no, get in the truck. I remember cruising around with you a lot in the truck, and I we would have fun. Like we would just feel safe and big and monstrous.
Well, your car your big old truck could handle all the potholes so much more gracefully.
That's true. I didn't care. I was like, blah, let's just hit it.
Yeah. It would freak me out when you would go into. You'd be like, oh, look, a puddle after a rain. And I'd be like, you don't even know how deep that pothole is, but you're just like, with your big old tires.
Bah. Yeah, I used to drive that thing like a Miata in the H3. Like just hot, like 80 miles an hour.
You should not say
that. Big, huge truck.
I'm sure you're going the legal speeding limit.
Oh, I'm sure. But sometimes you would rev up. I mean, if you're going down like you're going down a decline, like you're going to hit some high numbers. Like that's just...
You're rolling. You're rolling downhill. And that was a very heavy truck.
You don't want to kill your brakes.
That was a heavy truck.
Don't kill your damn brakes. Yeah. Who hasn't been down that road in a high speed?
Well, I used to have a job where I worked really terrible hours. It was... I was like doing a morning show in town. And so I would be driving. I would have to get to work at 4 a.m., 3:30, 4 a.m. So I would be flying. There would be nobody on the road, on the highways.
I bet. Like everybody's sleeping.
So
cops are still sleeping too.
I would take advantage, and I would drive in the middle.
Oh my God. In the middle.
In the middle. Especially when you're going around the turns. I drive in the middle. I was just like,
but what if somebody else was driving?
There was nobody in the dark except for the ghosts that walk around and haunt the Pali Highway.
The H3 tunnel?
Oh, I wasn't going H3. I was going Pali.
I think people don't know about that though. Like when they were building the H3, lots of ghosts would come out, and the workers would...
Took more than 20 years to build that.
I think it's the most expensive road in the world. Yeah. Is the
H3 freeway, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there were so many cave-ins, and people said that workers said that they saw like this giant protector goddess come out, and she threatened and warned them, and she had been threatening them, and then she caved the whole mountain in. And so they had to redo the tunnel to go through the mountain.
You see? Yeah. Madame Pele and her sister.
I don't know which one it was. But Hawaii has a lot of We have a lot of gods and goddesses. We really do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember being over, under the H3 and just seeing how much work had to be put into it. I'm just like, this is insane. Like, I don't even know how they would build that, especially through the mountain.
Through the mountain, through the valley.
That tunnel, though, I saw a new iPhone commercial. It might have been on for a while, but there's a woman, like they were talking about how you can like film using your iPhone because the cameras are so good, whatever. There's a woman like speeding through, like she looks like she's in an action film, but she's speeding through the tunnel on the H3. And I'm like, I know what that tunnel is. Because I've sped through that tunnel too. But it's always the worst when there's an accident in the tunnel or on the H3 because you're stuck.
You're stuck. It's only 2 lanes.
You're stuck.
There's no going around. Yep. And I have been stuck on the H3 a couple of times. Once it was really awesome because there had just been this rainstorm. And so the waterfalls were going off and I was on my way up. So I had the really great vantage point to...
You had a good view.
Take pictures of the waterfalls. It was gorgeous.
I always tell people, like, if you're going over the H3, make sure you have already gone to the bathroom and you fill up your gas. Because you just never know, right? Like, some stupid person is going to hit.
Yeah, check those traffic. I have Waze, I have Google Maps, I have the Apple one. I check all of them just to make sure if there's anything, any sign of traffic. And then, because there's multiple routes.
Another way.
Yeah, there's multiple ways to get to your destination.
Like. H3 Pali.
Kalanianaʻole and Kamehameha Highway.
That's a long way to go.
But you can still get there. You can still get to your destination. Like there was all these people who were trapped in Kaneohe because it flooded and they were trying to get out to North Shore, and the only other way around was to go all the way up the mountain around and come back through Haleiwa and to the North Shore just to get out there because the stream overflowed.
Wow. Yeah, the kind of the road that goes up to like Chinaman's Hat and the Ko'olaus and all that
floods
stuff
all the time.
Floods because of the ocean. The ocean's like literally right next to you.
Ocean's there, like, and there's a stream. And it's almost river size. It's huge, and when that overflows too, it's just all water.
Crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, so people weren't able to get that way for like, I think a day, 24 hours or more.
Yeah. Well, that's when you have friends.
But
you got to make friends all over the island.
I think it was really terrible. I think it was Maui. They had like a whole cave-in, kind of like a landslide on one of their highways. And I think it took a week for them to clear that. And those people,
I don't even know how you
on the other side, they just were trapped on either side. There was no other way around.
Was this on the road to Hana?
I think it might have been.
Because I mean, you really do get stuck if you're on Hana and it like completely has a landslide. Like you were stuck on one side of the island. You can go all the way around, but it takes forever.
Yeah, but I think they had brought in like resources and supplies and water and things for those people. Yeah. I think by helicopter.
Wow. Yeah, I've always thought about like where I wanted to live, and I don't ever want to be like cut off,
isolated, someplace where you could be isolated.
Not that isolated. And if I am that isolated, I would have like enough supplies for a year.
Well, I think I'd like to have, if I lived somewhere so rural, then I would want to have like my own resources, my own water supply, my own electricity, solar. You just be fully off the grid, grow your own crops and vegetables. Have some chickens.
Yeah, but eventually you do need some kind of contact. You need things.
Well, I would have a cell phone.
Buying this land but buying this land right now, like we are going to have like a whole storage sort of building for all our emergency supplies.
Because you're so far out.
Yeah, I mean, we're not like super far out, but it's far enough that you don't want to run to the store last minute. Like you don't need to. Mm-hmm. It would be nice to have that peace of mind. And I always tell people you should have like a couple cases of water for yourself. You just never know.
How far is the drive from where you're going to buy to like, say, like supermarkets? Costco?
Depends. I mean, 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay. That doesn't sound that bad.
But by the time, no, it's not bad. But by the time that, like you are aware that there's an issue, it's too late. Like, you won't have time to go to Costco. Like, everything will be gone already.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of having a storage space. I don't have a storage space, but I am only 30 minutes away, also 40 minutes away from Costco.
But your traffic is more intense because you have such a dense population in a small amount of area.
Yes, we have terrible traffic. So I'm hoping that everybody who moves here, that they are aware that I'm hoping that you're going to be working remotely.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, you know, that's kind of why I want to like shift my career, is because I really would like to work from home. I'd like to have some more flexibility. And I just would like the idea of being able to just pick up and go wherever I want. And I think that's really important nowadays. I think there's a lot of like jobs you can do
Working remotely.
And yeah, I mean, be an individual contributor, and what I think companies should embrace is that you don't have to pay for rent. You don't have to pay for utilities. Like, that's all on your employee to do. You just pay them a salary to do their job. And if they don't do their job and they can't keep up with their internet and all this other stuff, that's on them, you know? I mean, I think it's great. Like, maybe the pandemic has shown that we can adapt to being, you know, more independent as far as workers, and that companies can hire more people.
Yeah.
Because they're saving money in a way.
They're going to save money.
They are. And then maybe they can invest back into their employees and pay them a little more to help with like bills.
People need to be paid more. People need to be paid more.
For sure.
I think
teachers definitely need to be paid more.
Poor teachers. Oh my gosh. I can't handle my nephews in my house. Then it's only once a week. Although they've been on spring break and hopped up on a lot of sugar. So it's been very loud at my house.
Oh my goodness. Who is giving them sugar?
Probably their father, and then he leaves.
Oh, that's terrible. That's like total like sabotage.
That's
like,
mean. I try to do that when I know he's stuck with them and that he's tortured me. That's karma. If he does it too many times, he's gonna get it back. Like, he just better wait Easter. I'm buying them a basket.
Somebody showed me the other day, like they bought some like Cadbury, like those little hard robin eggs. It's like they have that hard outside shell with like the chocolate in the middle. I had like my mouth started to drool when I saw this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't had those since I was a kid. This person was like, I need to buy the small packages because if I bought the whole big one, I would eat the whole thing in one sitting. I was like, that is insane. Like,
I didn't even know that they came in a package. I thought they were sold individually.
No, those are those like big Cadbury eggs. These are like the tiny robin ones that are like the hard outside shell.
You know what? I haven't had those.
With the soft chocolate in the inside.
I am not a.
They're so delicious. Like, just be careful.
Connoisseur of.
I'm not
those kinds of candies.
Neither am I. I love candy, but I mean, it takes a really special chocolate for me to like indulge in chocolate. But I love me some sweet and sours, anything like with all the sugar on it. Like, it's such a rush. But yeah, like. I just think, you know, it's good that people are shifting, right? It's like that whole migration thing is happening and people are discovering where they want to live. I still don't know where I want to live, but it's always nice to have like a home base. And so that's what I'm working on right now, is just having a central location where all my nice stuff like just resides. And then I just move about the country. So still going to be a nomad in a way, but still have a home base to come back to. And, you know, with the land, I'm inheriting a donkey, which I'm super excited about because I've always wanted a horse again in life, but I think I'll start off with a donkey and we'll be
adorable.
Friends. Yeah, and we'll maybe be posting some videos of that, me and my adventures of befriending this wild donkey on our Patreon so that people can see, you know, me, Ty, the donkey whisperer or whatever. And we're getting some chickens, you know, we're going to be like the average Asian Texas family, you know. So I feel like this is going to be the makings of a new reality TV show, possibly.
What kind of wildlife is in Texas? Like, what do you have to like watch out for?
I would say the wild boars, pretty aggressive, have rabies, you know.
We don't have rabies
cougars,
in Hawaii.
We've got cougars,
which I'm very grateful for, but we do have wild boars. And when I was young, I was on a camping excursion, and it was in Mount Ulamana, We went on, it's really famous, went hiking, and my small group, we were chased up a tree by a large wild boar. We ran for our lives, and I swear we had to wait up that tree till dark, till it went away.
Wow.
So watch out.
That's why you need a weapon. You always need a weapon. I mean, even a loud air horn would scare the crap out of it.
I don't know.
You know, beep, beep, beep.
This boar was like, I was
would.
little. I think I was like 8 or 9.
Well, you look like a piece of
It was-
chicken. You know, a little bit of dark meat, a little bit of light meat, whatever.
Between my friends, my class, it was a school field trip, and there was like only 2 adults, and these adults, when I say adults, they were like 18.
They probably abandoned you.
No, they were up the tree with us. They dragged us up the tree.
How did everybody fit up the
It was
tree?
a big tree. We just kept climbing up the tree, and we waited there.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. How did you go to the bathroom?
You didn't. I was too scared to do anything. But I remember frightened as hell, and
Little baby mine running up the
that was the
tree.
biggest pig thing I've ever seen. I mean, it was
They're
was the
scary.
size of a small
Wild
car.
boars are scary. They can like gut you in an
It
instant.
had tusks.
Like they can
It
gut
had
you and
sharp, giant tusks.
it would like gut you.
Yeah.
I would say there's some wolves, there's foxes, you know, coyotes, basically.
Bears.
Another no, not really. Possums, raccoons, they're pretty evil because they have rabies. And then I feel like other dogs are pretty dangerous. We've had a couple grown women mauled to death by wild dogs.
Oh man.
So I mean, and they kill all the pets. And
How do you protect
wild
your
and-
personal, adorable little fluffy dogs from these scary creatures?
owls and eagles, and hawks. So my mom actually bought this like brass, sort of looks like a windmill, but actually you hook up the hose to it and it like shoots off water. So it's almost like a sprinkler, and she put it in the back. And my dogs, they love to sunbathe. Okay, so they're out there and they pile up under this thing. And what I think it does is because it's always moving because of the wind, like it deters flying animals. So they actually make a little baby pile. So you get 2 Shih Tzus and a little baby Yorkie that sits in between them. And nothing ever seems to like bother them because they're next to this thing. And so I think for some reason, like, I don't know, maybe their defenses, like they know that this sprinkler thing will keep a flying animal away from them.
Interesting.
Because I always like look out and I'm like, why is my dog like sitting there under this thing? But then I realize maybe it's because it protects them in a way.
That's so clever. We need more things like that.
Yeah, totally.
When I was in California and on my way to
it's
Vegas,
cute.
I have seen these large predator birds. Like I was first time I
They're
saw
probably vultures.
eagles. I saw
Vultures.
what else did I see? I seen large birds, but that was the first time I saw American eagles. That was kind of cool. They're huge.
Yeah, the bald eagles are huge. Yeah, they're
They
big.
could totally
They're
pick up
big.
your dog.
Oh yeah, like anything can pick up Cheeto.
Yeah.
But I actually told Chubbs the other day that he's pretty safe because he's just so big. Like nobody's gonna want to pick him up. They couldn't carry him very far. And they're pretty quick. I mean, I think they also have a whole deck to sit on, so I feel like, they probably sit under the deck just to be safe if they don't feel comfortable. I just remember one night I was walking. I used to live in an apartment, and I was like walking out by the lake, and I heard this like hooting noise, and I looked up, and I was walking my dogs, and there was this huge barn owl. Like it was bigger. It was probably half the size of my body. It looked like, because you know how like when things are farther away they look small. Like he looked huge on the roof of the apartment, and I was like, I'm gonna die.
They
Like
could carry you away.
who am I gonna? I was like, which one of you am I gonna save? Like like out of the 3, who's gonna run? Like who do I need to pick? Well, of course I would pick up Cheeto and shove him in my shirt, and then I would try to carry Chips and Chubbs. But one time I had Chips and Chubbs in California, and I was like down Santa Monica, and everybody thought they were so freaking cute. They gave up after like 1 mile.
They couldn't walk
And I had to
anymore.
carry them back to the car. Yeah, they just laid in the middle of the road. I was like, you guys cannot lay down. And then for some reason, Chubbs always freaks out in a crosswalk and takes a shit. And so I'm
And you have to carry that too.
yeah, you got to carry it all. But it was just funny because like I'm always like having to pick them up and run with them or like walk really far, and people are just laughing. So now, I get made fun of, but they'll sit in a wagon or they'll sit in a stroller. Like I think I lost a date with someone because they were like, "Wait, you have a dog stroller?" And I was like, "No, now they use a wagon. Like it's totally legit. Like the wagon is safe. It's cute, right?" But if you had to carry 2 dogs that weigh like 40 pounds, like you too would want a wagon or a stroller.
Yes.
Like,
that's hilarious.
It's very comical. Like all of these things, I wish somebody had like an invisible camera and had recorded all these moments in my life, because I definitely would be a YouTube sensation with my dogs and their shenanigans. So yeah, about my shenanigans and everything. Like I just think that there's so many opportunities to make funny videos, and I can't wait for this adventure of getting this land and making friends with a donkey and all the comical like commentary I'm gonna have with it, because I'll be like recording, I'll be like, okay, there it is
in the wild,
like we're approaching, we're gonna get through the grass. Like I think this would be really wonderful to do, and
I think you should put your GoPros on your dogs and let them walk around, and it'll be their story.
No, because I really think that Cheeto wearing a GoPro, he's literally going to get picked up by an eagle and that's it. Done. Like this land is completely open. There's a couple trees and Cheeto, like fresh, tasty morsel on the ground wearing a stupid camera. Like that would be the worst viral video
At least
ever.
you can walk around your whole property. You don't have to like take them to a park. You're going to live on your own park with your whole family.
Oh, yeah. I think we're going to actually make like a covered little penned area so they can go to the bathroom and be safe, because it will be covered. Yeah. Especially it's hot here. But I'm excited. So
my aunt,
stay tuned.
My aunt built something called a cattery. She lives in California, and she built this extension off her house that is like gated. It's all gated with a roof. So it's like it goes outdoors to her backyard. So her cats want to be outside. So they have like a safe space. It's completely fenced and with a roof. So they're in the shade.
So they don't get
eaten and taken away. Because I've seen photos that she sent me where like there's been a mountain lion like on her street.
Chilling.
Yeah, just right on her road. Everybody's got their little Ring cameras or their security cameras. She goes, yeah, look, my neighbor got this picture, or I got this picture. And I'm like, what are you doing outside? Taking pictures of a mountain lion. Get your butt inside.
Yeah, definitely go inside. Like California, they have bears that go in the pools when it's hot, We're probably going to set up some nighttime cameras, so I'll be able to put like extra photos and videos up of the wildlife. I really think this would be really fun, and I think a lot of our listeners and Patreon
I want to see it.
Subscribers will. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to record my adventures with my new donkey that I haven't given a name to, but I will. It'll be great.
Okay. Maybe
it'll be
fun. It should be a Hawaiian name.
Okay. Well, you can help me figure out that name, but as we go, it'll be adventures with Tai and said donkey name inserted there. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll think of another cocktail. But anyway,
so
maybe we'll make a cocktail beverage just for your donkey.
That'd be fun. Okay. Well, apparently the donkey likes apples and carrots, so we'll start there. That's a good combination. Apples and carrots.
Maybe like
the juice is great.
Apple teeny or something. Or
no, I think that's too sweet. I think maybe like an apple carrot juice vodka mix. Things.
We'll figure it out.
Anyway, well, happy Aloha Friday, everyone. This has been so great, and thank you for tuning in. You can check us out at mytaisatsunset.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, all types of platforms that play your favorite podcasts. And also, Mai and I are writing for Medium, so you'll have to just check us out.
Yep. There, we'll have links on our website too. Eventually, we're so close to getting it up. I'm so excited. Hope you guys love it.
So close.
Hope you guys love it.
Yep.
And until we meet again, a hui ho.